Encounter is brought to you by the Broome County Council of Churches, where we connect compassion with needs as we inspire growth with dignity. You'll find us in special places throughout the community. For those who remain hungry, we provide meals. For those who are challenged, we build wheelchair ramps. We comfort those who are ill, minister to those who are confined, and we remain an advocate for change and understanding on behalf of every element of our community. Connect and inspire. Encounter the Broome County Council of Churches.
Friends, welcome to the Encounter program. I'm your host, Mark Kimpland, the pastor at the Endwell United Methodist Church. This particular program today is going to be very interesting. It takes me back several years, back in 2019, when I uncovered this jewel of this area and community, and I am looking forward to diving right into our program today. But I'd like to introduce our guests. To my right is Judy McMahon, and she is the chair of the nominating committee of Lyceum. And that will be our topic today. Sitting next to her is George Lohmann, who is the president of Lyceum and also the chair of the program committee. And farthest to my right is Bill Gorman, who is the liaison between local theaters in the community. I want to welcome all of you as we explore this topic I knew nothing about until 2019, Lyceum. And let's dive right into this. And George, I'd like to start with you if I could first. Could you give us kind of a brief history or the purpose, the vision of Lyceum?
Sure. Well, first of all, a quick correction. Mm-hmm. I'm not president yet.
Okay.
Next year.
I'm prophetic.
Yeah, okay. All right, great.
Thank you for that correction.
No problem.
Yep.
So Lyceum is a lifelong learning organization run by volunteers. Okay. Our goal is to provide very high quality instruction, things that are intellectual, sometimes practical, sometimes related to health issues and that type of practicality. We've been in existence for 35 years, and we keep changing with the times, as the pandemic taught us.
Indeed. Yeah. Now, what is your relationship then with Binghamton University? I found that fascinating when I'm on your website. Where are we with? How did you have a history as to how that all came about and such things, and how long perhaps that relationship has been, or?
I'm going to look at my notes
okay,
so I
no
make
problem,
sure I
no
get
problem.
it exactly right.
Yeah, no problem.
Lyceum is a program of the Department of Teaching, Learning, and Educational Leadership within the College of Community and Public Affairs.
Okay, so that's the link between Lyceum and Binghamton University. Right. Okay, awesome.
And they provide an office, and our director is in the office there with during the time that the college is in session, we have an undergraduate and a graduate student that work for us.
Oh, great. So would it be safe to say, and I'm just kind of diverting a little bit here, would it be safe to say that Lyceum then is kind of a adult community continuing education program? I mean, is that how you see it?
I would think so.
Okay.
And the nice thing about it is there are no tests.
Great. Just learning.
Yep.
Yeah. Just rolling up your sleeves and opening your mind and heart and getting from it whatever you choose to get from it.
Usually no homework unless you choose one that asked you to read. Usually that's what. You know.
But you'll know that going in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. The next question, and I appreciate the questions, and maybe we'll go in order that might be easier as we work through this. Are there age groups limitations? Is it just limited to those that are seniors? Can anyone be a part of that? What are are there age limits or anything that we need to know about?
No, I mean our focus is 60 and above, actually 50 and above.
Okay.
But we do try to accommodate the working members of the of Lyceum, but we have no restrictions. To be quite honest with you, my 11-year-old grandson is a member because he wanted to take a plant identification class.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Doing, so.
Well, that certainly does say that there are no restrictions
right.
on that, yes. Now, you remember membership. You just mentioned the idea of membership. Can you talk about that? How do you characterize that? How does one become a member of Lyceum?
Well, we're all members.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Bill?
Yeah, I'm not sure. How do you become a member?
Yeah,
That's-
sure.
yeah.
And do you, and how do you if you do?
Okay.
I guess.
We
How
go-
would that happen?
Go online.
Okay.
It's easy to just Google Binghamton Lyceum is probably the easiest way, so that you make sure there are other lyceums and of different natures and so forth across the world. But Binghamton Lyceum will get you right where you want to go, and there you would register, pay online.
Okay.
You have to do that first before you can sign up for classes. So you do
Yes.
that financial transition
Yep.
or transaction, and then you'll go back in and pick your classes.
And all that is done electronically then?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, great. So you have a schedule of classes. I know that you had a rough draft of something that was going around with all the classes that are coming up and such. How are they structured? How can you kind of give us a typical, if there is, a typical kind of structure of a class, or how are they structured?
Well, I would say that the key to joining and our learning is to go through this catalog. The catalog gives you a sense of what is being done for this particular semester.
Okay.
And it also gives you the idea of how much every one of these courses costs. And the cost is $7, I would say $7 an hour is what
2
it
hours.
really goes that way. If your lecture is going to be 2 hours, then it's,
No,
What- no.
it's $7 for a 2-hour session.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
our
Okay.
I should know
sessions-
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
on probably 95% of our classes are 2 hours long.
Okay.
Okay, and that usually costs $7 unless there's some special
That's incredible.
aspect
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
But we do ask that the instructor provides a 10-minute break. Because sitting for
Good,
2
good,
hours is
good,
a bit
good.
bit
Yes,
long.
yes, yes.
Even for the Zoom people. And so the characteristic of the class is, like I said, 2 hours long, with the instructor deciding whether he wants to or she wants to lecture. Okay, often PowerPoints are involved,
Yeah.
but some of them like to have the questions being interactive. Others like to have their Q&A at the end of the session.
Right,
Okay.
right.
We have, Judy mentioned semesters. We have 3 sessions, an 8-week session in the fall, usually mid-September to mid-November,
Okay.
a 4-week session in the winter, mid-January to mid-February, and we call it spring. It's an 8-week session that usually begins mid-February through mid-April.
And so the classes then within those 3 sessions, how are they developed? I mean, how do instructors contact you? I'm sure there's some instructors that you just love having, and they've had a great track record, and people look forward to that. How does that seems like a pretty large task to get those connected.
Well, I think it's the subject matter.
Yeah.
And in looking through this catalog, I can't wait
Yeah.
till it gets started because it's.
Yes.
I'll just give you an
Yeah,
example.
please, yes.
For those of you who may be opera fans, I am one, and the way these things are written is very good too, because you get a good sense going through this catalog to what to expect. This says opera divas and villains behaving badly. So opera has some very juicy and
Yeah,
maybe a bit
yeah,
crazy
yeah.
leading ladies and villains that make for wonderful music and storytelling. So there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, okay.
And
Yes.
I'm looking through this,
Yes.
and they're all wonderful things that are coming up for this coming year. It's just wonderful.
Yes.
And also, we might mention that it's not only just lectures. We also have social activities, don't we?
We do.
Perhaps you could
Yeah, could
mention
you-
what's
yeah.
coming up on that.
Can you share a little about that?
In early June, we had a picnic at Ossiningo Park, and Judy and and Bill entertained us with a wonderful little humorous skit, and let it be known that both Judy and Bill are actors, well known in the community, and we take advantage of that as much as possible.
Good.
Yeah. We've done sessions where they recorded a full-length play that we used the Zoom to that was during the pandemic. That was an interesting experience, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was indeed.
Well, that was one of the times we discovered something with Zoom. There's a play called Love Letters by A.R. Gurney, and it's supposed to be for two actors just coming on the stage, sitting at a table, reading letters that their characters wrote to each other, over their lifetime. And I thought, this is perfect for Zoom. We can't get together on the stage, but Judy in her house and me in my house played the characters, and then we were put together on the screen by the Zoom program. So it was one of those perfect adaptations that we were able to accomplish with Zoom.
And the thing I want to really pat our IT committee on the back, because we might be older, okay, but they are amazing. Yeah, I know. Sorry. They are an amazing team. We have made the transition to Zoom wonderfully. As you indicated, the pandemic hit in March of 2019, and by the fall we were back on in business. Because we had to shut down all of our program. We did do some experimenting that spring to try to get a sense of what was possible.
Okay.
But by fall we had a full program again.
That's awesome.
All Zoom.
Yeah.
But to go back to your original question, where do we get our instructors? You're right. They do come back to us. They come and ask, and sometimes they hear about us and have not instructed before, but are intrigued by about what we have to offer. Point to be known, we do not pay our instructors.
Okay.
There are some special exceptions. We do have scholarships for graduate students who are working on their PhD. We invite them to apply, and they can win a scholarship in order to offer a class. We do have two other special programs called the faculty lecture. That's a paid lecture. I believe that's actually a free to participants. Okay, and the other one is called the mall lecture. And don't ask me where the term mall comes from. It has nothing to do with the Oakdale Mall, but it is another. It is paid. So, but then again, we go recruiting, and again with the pandemic, a couple of things that I'm sort of proud of. We went to Charleston. My wife and I did in March, and on our way down, we stopped at the Woodrow Wilson Library and Museum, and so we have a class coming from that museum to Lyceum in the fall about the home front during World War I, because that's when Wilson was in office. And then when we got to Charleston, we visited the I think it was the Reed Plantation, and I met a woman who was doing a presentation on the Gullah culture. Next thing you know, we have a class on the Gullah culture.
Yes, I saw that.
There's a whole world out there, isn't there, that we can bring right here.
The wide aspect of this is just amazing.
Yes.
There's one that comes back every year, and that's called the one that current events.
Current events.
Yes.
That comes back every year, and it's usually presided over by the same person.
Okay.
And that's a lot of fun, because we're talking about everything from politics to the local, what's going on locally.
Every other Friday afternoon is that, and that interchanged with science discussion, which is basically the same thing, only focused on science.
Friends,
Yeah,
I am thrilled that we have guests here. We are highlighting the Lyceum project through Binghamton University, and our guests are Judy McMahon, George Lohmann, and Bill Gorman. And again, I'm so interested in this. But go ahead, please, Bill, if you will.
Well, I was just saying, since we were coming here, I looked
Yes.
through the catalog to
Yes.
see what I might like to take,
Yeah.
possibly. And it gives such a variety. There's one called Play Shop for Adults, which is a theater improv class.
Yes.
Now, you don't expect that. It's not, I don't get the idea that these are all academic classes.
Right.
It's such a variety.
Yes.
I might take that. I don't know, can sharpen my skills.
Yeah, yeah.
And spy movies by Henry Miller Jones. And Henry Miller Jones worked for the CIA. So he's able to critique the spy movies with fiction
Yeah,
spying
yes.
and real life spying.
Yeah.
I'm not a historian, but there's a class, World War II, the early victories with Michael Bagdasarian, and I might take the class just because Michael is teaching it. He's an amazing teacher, so knowledgeable about World War I, World
Yes.
War II,
Yeah.
the Civil War,
Yeah.
and such an entertaining teacher. So you want to publish a book, all right? Louise Donahue, who's published something like 19 Regents romances, will be teaching people how they can also get into the publishing business.
Yes.
Matthew Brady Revisited. I'm a photographer, so I will probably take that to see what
Yes.
that's all about. And what I know I will take is artificial intelligence with art law. And art law does a wonderful job researching a topic like this and then being able to present it in a way that's very understandable. He's very likable, so I've taken some classes with him. And also, George, maybe you might want to talk about this. There's a Rhodes Scholar class,
Right.
Churchill 1940, again taught by Michael Bagdasarian. But what's the Rhodes Scholar connection?
So we do have a partnership with Rhodes Scholar, and they do provide films on topics, and so we try to find a facilitator who is familiar with that topic, and show the film, and then there's a discussion afterwards. So that was a recent thing that we started doing. Some of our other regular armchair travel is a regular, usually Wednesday mornings. Okay.
Very
And again,
popular.
we're very flexible. When I say usually, I mean
Okay.
usually.
You mean that.
Okay. But yeah, if the instructor, for example, can't do a daytime session, then we are quite flexible about that. But I know we're doing one on Egypt this time in the fall. We're doing one on Tokyo. Those are the ones that I remember off the top of my head. Kind of a special one in that area is the arts tour in Susquehanna Valley, Pennsylvania will be part of that as well. A couple of the other regular features, what we call George's Books, which is not named after me, came long before I was involved in Lyceum, but it's one that I have enjoyed doing as long as I was an English teacher. So basically, it's usually a novel, not always. I know we're doing 3 of O'Casey's, Sean O'Casey's plays. Okay, I started about 7 or 8 years ago doing it, and I started with a British writer, Thomas Hardy. Then I did America. Then I did a European. I thought, that's a cool kind of pattern. So I've been consistent about that pattern. So I'm working to. I'll be doing it in the winter. Willa Cather, My Antonia, will be my next George's Books. What other regulars do we have? You mentioned the spy movie.
Right.
It's not. This is okay. This one is regular. That is usually on Mondays, once a month. So you have to have time to read the book. We have notable nonfiction. Okay. So well-known nonfiction books are. You don't have to read the book if you want to. Just we do invite people who have not read the book not to try to comment on the book.
Yeah.
To me,
Just
as a matter of
listen,
fact.
listen to the discussion.
Sure.
Which segues into the idea of what we call our hybrid classes. Okay, offered during the daytime sessions, okay? You can either attend on site, and our classroom is in the back of the WSKG studios, okay, which used to be an old school, so there's extra room. The studio's in the center of the building, and we're in the back. We have 2 classrooms, and one is totally set up for Zoom instruction with the cameras and the monitors and the screen, so they can project the PowerPoint to the people that are there, but the people on Zoom can also see it. Because of our partnership with the Alumni Association, BU Alumni Association, we have members all over the country. So, you know, that's why we want to continue. You know, people will say, well, when will you stop doing Zoom? We will not stop doing Zoom because we do not want to lose those members. We've had people who move away are still members of Lyceum. Matter of fact, we have one member who moved to Virginia, and he's on our board. He is our finance member. So.
Well, I'd like to mention that,
please.
For instance, there sometimes can be a very wonderful surprise along with these lectures. Last semester, we had Dr. Bogdarian doing the session on World War II, and then another man came in with a whole display of the kinds of weapons that were used in that day. And it was just an extra thing that was most interesting. So that can happen from time to time.
Speaking of other special effects, I went last session to a class in Corning. Okay, we visited an art studio, and then we went to the Rockwell Museum, and we had an excellent presentation as we walked around and looked at the art. I've been to the Rockwell numerous times before, but this made it particularly special. Coming up in the fall, we have something similar going to be at Ross Park Zoo, and there's also going to be one in New Berlin, which is an art tour as well. So we are getting back to doing bus trips. In June, we went to New York City, and it's one of those just kind of do your own thing. They drop you off at Bryant Park and pick you up again at Bryant Park, and whatever you do in between is just
up to you.
Right, exactly. But the Corning, the New Berlin, the Ross Park, of course, you have to drive, carpool, whatever, to get there on your own.
Bill, did you want to say something?
As long as you're presenting history, it's not only lectures. We had a local actress, Marianne Johnson, come in, and what she does is become a historical figure with the costumes and the whole thing. And it's so much more entertaining, I think, to see that person, in front of you. And then she did talk a little bit about the history of where she came from. But one of the characters she did was Belva Lockwood, who people might realize that she spent some time at Owego, but was the first woman to, I think, apply for the Supreme Court and also run for president.
So, that's amazing. That's amazing.
And her group, the Judith Present Players, will be presenting some more historical figures in the fall. So if people get a look at the catalog, they might want to take a look at that.
And that catalog is coming out, when is that?
Probably mid-August.
Mid-August, okay.
Another special one I want to mention that we've started a partnership first with Central Methodist, they were doing an annual garden tour, and we wanted to start one, but we didn't want to step on their toes, so we joined forces.
Great.
And the same deal with PAST, the Preservation Association of the Southern Tier. They had suspended theirs because of COVID, wanted to get back into it, And again, they joined forces with us this past July for a wonderful garden tour. I'm a gardener, so I'm kind of prejudiced, but speaking of which, gives me the opportunity. The last class I did related to gardens, they called it Gardens Across America. My wife reluctantly gets drugged to every botanical garden that we ever come close to. And I take lots of pictures and I created classes. Believe it or not, I had 6 PowerPoints for a 4-hour class.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That's awesome. Friends, we have about 3 minutes left, but we are talking about Lyceum, and I'm joined by Judy McMahon, George Lohmann, and Bill Gorman. We just have a few moments left, but I'd like to end with this, and I hope we touched on everything that, or most everything that you wanted to, but there was a question that I just want to entertain, and if you could just take maybe 30 seconds or so, but what impact has this had on your life? How is Lyceum kind of impacted? Could each of you just touch on that for a second?
Well, I certainly have learned a lot.
Okay.
I love history, and I love a lot of different things that are covered by these lectures, and also friends, making friends. This is a wonderful way to do it, because you're with people who want to know the things that you want to know.
Yeah,
so
that's a connection.
It's very nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was lifelong learning from the beginning. I just love to learn, and that's why I became a teacher, because that gives you a chance to always learn while you're teaching. I love to do research, and every time this time with Lyceum, I get to choose whatever topic I want, whatever is interesting to me, and I love to do that. And like Judy says, there's so many courses. Everybody complains there's too many choices, but again, we've
can't make up my mind.
Right,
huh?
we've got to appeal to 400 to 500 people, so we've got to make sure we have a nice, sizable.
And they do.
So is that right now ballpark 400 to 500 people that are taking advantage of this from time to time?
We're
some
down
regular,
from
some not.
COVID, but we're building ourselves back up.
Good.
So,
Good.
And again, I just add, a lifetime learner, and with some of the best teachers that I have ever experienced.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the real perks of
There's a real mutualism, because we're very appreciative of them, and we show it as participants in the class, and they are very appreciative of our enthusiasm.
That's awesome.
The fact that we don't have to be there; we want to be there.
Right. So. Well, I thank you, and if there's any, keep up the great work. I mean, I'm amazed at the diversity, the impact that it's having in the lives of people. So I want to thank you,
We
friends.
invite you to join us.
Well, absolutely, I will take you up on that.
Oh, I forget. Did we mention that you can Google Binghamton Lyceum? I can't remember whether we mentioned that.
Yeah, that's how I got to it, as a matter of fact. So, friends, I want to thank you. I want to thank Judy McMahon. I want to thank Bill Gorman and George Lohmann for being our guests and talking about the Lyceum project through Binghamton University. So please get to their catalog, get to their website, and take advantage of this gem. So thank you so much. And friends, have a wonderful day, and go in peace.